Hi folks, Seth Leipson here. Thanks for watching my monologue. In these uncertain times, you may be thinking about personal protection. If you are, I urge you to visit my friends at Guns Etc. They'll help you find the perfect protection for yourself and your family, and they can even teach you how to use it. They've been protecting Arizonans for over 33 years, and they stand for the great principles this country was founded upon. Or you can just click on gunsetcetera.com. And if you like my monologues, please subscribe to 960 The Patriots YouTube channel. Welcome back. Happy December 17th, 2020. I've been thinking a lot about the Bill of Rights and constitutionalism this week for two reasons. Of course, first, we had Bill of Rights Day earlier this week. And second, if I can paraphrase Abraham Lincoln, the potential of a Donald Trump second term has become increasingly elusive as the courts have left no prying instrument with him. One after another, they have closed the heavy iron doors upon him, and now they have him, as it were, bolted in with a lock of 100 keys, which can never be unlocked without the concurrence of every key. The keys in the hands of 100 different men, and they scattered to 100 different and distant places, and they stand musing as to what invention and all the dominions of mind and matter can be produced to make the impossibility of a second Trump term more complete than it is. So as we observe this, our loins need to be girded for three fights: two retail and one wholesale. First, the retail. As identified at Issues and Insights, a Biden presidency will try to raise taxes, put even more health care into the hands of government, roll back Trump's deregulation achievements, outlaw gasoline automobiles and replace them with electric vehicles, steal outright millions of American jobs, inflict a job and business-killing $15 an hour minimum wage, pursue foolish, needless, America-defeating environmental policies such as fracking bans, and re-engagement with the Paris climate con that Trump wisely withdrew the country from, unwrap Trump's progress in the Middle East, which includes several peace agreements no one else could accomplish, and a tough line against the Iranian regime that now has the mullahs on the defensive, surrender to the Antifa and BLM zealots who want to destabilize the country as part of his agenda to transform the country, curb the First and Second Amendments, and probably ban plastic consumer conveniences as well. Are we prepared to fight all that and make good arguments justifying those fights? Second, still retail. We'd better damn sure do everything we can to save the Senate, and that fight is in Georgia right now. And that fight has two merits to it, really two imperatives. First, to stop all of the above, and once done, to see how a President Biden will try to accomplish the foregoing via executive orders. You know, the old pen that Barack Obama used. For you see, the only way to stop executive orders is the way the left tried to stop several of Donald Trump's, via the federal courts. The federal courts mean federal judges, and the Senate confirms or sidelines federal judges. The Senate is just that important. First, save the country, and to do that, we have to first save the courts. It's a funny thing to have to contemplate or say such a thing in a country governed by a Constitution and its Bill of Rights, but these things are clearly not self-enforcing. Citizens, their choices, their actions, their votes, they are what animate the Constitution, give it life or give it death. And their choices and their actions are themselves animated by thoughts and beliefs. And right now it seems too many have wrong-headed views about our Constitution, as much as an unfamiliarity with the notion of just plain old constitutionalism. That is the wholesale part, duty, of conservatism just now, it seems to me. It wasn't always like this. The absence of constitutionalism is the legacy of progressivism, the progressive movement. Professor Bradley Watson puts it this way: the progressive idea, simply put, is that the principled American constitutionalism of fixed natural rights and limited and dispersed powers must be overturned and replaced by an organic, evolutionary model of the Constitution that facilitates the authority of experts dedicated to the expansion of the public sphere and public control, especially at the national level. This fundamental idea opens into five major applications. One, that there are no fixed or eternal principles that should govern us. Two, that the state and its component parts are organic and involved in a struggle for never-ending growth. Three, that democratic openness and experimentalism are the fertilizer of the organic state. Four, that the state and its components exist only in history with a large H. And five, that some individuals stand outside this process, an elite class possessed of intelligence as a method who provide the messianic leadership needed to move the process smoothly along. The ever-expanding Leviathan, or even just the increased number of powers given to the federal government, are exactly the opposite of our founding sentiment, which, in the words of Harry Jaffa, who put it this way, our founding was designed to limit the ends of government while at the same time expanding the rights of man. That was the genius of our Declaration and Constitution. Men were equal and entitled to a life of liberty and pursuit of happiness. Government was designed to secure the blessings of liberty, not of government, as the Constitution's preamble states. Limit the ends of government, but give man or mankind the freedom to reach his God-given potential and reach. You can have one or the other, as in Dennis Prager's educating phrase, the bigger the government, the smaller the man, or the smaller the citizen. Both parties ignore all this by ignoring constitutionalism, one worse than the other. To wit, take the most well-respected conservative legal scholar and hero from roughly 2004 to 2012, John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. In the opinion he wrote upholding the constitutionality of Obamacare, he wrote literally that it was the job of the court to make sense of and to save, where possible, the law enacted by Congress. He wrote, in his opinion, quote, every reasonable construction must be resorted to in order to save a statute from unconstitutionality, close quote. This is exactly not what our founders believed or wrote. Indeed, is the opposite of what Alexander Hamilton wrote in Federalist 78, where he wrote, quote, it can be of no weight to say the courts, on the pretense of repugnancy, may substitute their own pleasure to the constitutional intentions of the legislature, close quote. What Hamilton is saying is that the court cannot substitute its judgment for the legislature's. He continues, quote, if, then, the courts of justice are to be considered as the bulwarks of a limited constitution against legislative encroachments, this consideration will afford a strong argument for the permanent tenure of judicial offices, since nothing will contribute so much as this to the independent spirit in the judges, which must be essential to the faithful performance of so arduous a duty, close quote. The point is not that the courts are here to protect us from bad policy. They are, in fact, not here for that reason. They are here to protect us from bad legislation, and legislation is bad when it is unconstitutional, when it violates the original understandings of what a national legislature was meant to legislate on in the confines of the Constitution. Yes, Obamacare is bad policy. Note how costs and taxes went up. And despite promises from President Obama, we all would, in fact, not be able to keep the insurance we wanted and the doctor we liked. But no more, the main point, it forces people to buy a commodity, a plan, and product that they may not want. It forces it. And until Donald Trump, it forced it through, of all places, the IRS. By the way, let me say something in passing. If you want to talk lies of public policy consequence, nobody told more whoppers of more consequence than Barack Obama about keeping your doctor if you wanted to. That turned out to be a total lie affecting millions. PolitiFact rated it the lie of the year. But of course, Trump, we're told, is the great liar about nothing that affects anyone. Certainly not their intimate and financial choices over the intimate and financial issues of healthcare. So the point is this. Until we get back to basic understandings of few and defined and limited powers of control, that's what it is, control of citizens, we will be upside down with our founders and our founding. We will be voiding the very notion of constitutionalism we began this nation with. Voiding the Constitution. Others used to get it, and I wonder if we still do. Our friend Tina in Star Valley puts it this way: we need to get back to a Bill of Rights attitude. But consider the fight. Again, Hamilton's words: we must ensure and secure the bulwarks of a limited Constitution against legislative encroachments. It's one thing to venerate Alexander Hamilton through song and dance on Broadway. It's quite another, more difficult perhaps, but more serious and important, to appreciate and honor him for what he actually thought, said, and wrote. There probably won't be a play about James Madison. His views are so rare and few think of him anymore, though his currency is great. And so too must be our relearning. If there is a country and it's a constitution we are trying to save, then the great relearning must begin for ourselves, for our fellow countrymen, and for our posterity, especially if it's this Constitution and not someone else's. I'm Seth Leibson. We'll be right back.